Yo, yo, what up? This is Ill Bill, and you're checking out Backspin TV, Blackbook. The concept of the Grimy Awards is paying tribute and giving props to a lot of the things, influences, ideas, bands, artists, people in my life, just kind of paying respect, you know, to them. And I wanted to make a record that encompassed that. I wanted the album itself to have a concept that ran through the entire album. And I've never done a solo record like that, so I wanted to do that with this. There's a bunch of features on the record, like obviously I'm gonna have Vinny and Szene and Q Unique. Those are my brothers, and that's a family thing. So those guys are always involved. But in general, I worked with people that I'm close with. I'm really close with, friends with. People like OC, HR from Bad Brains. Aside from actually getting to meet him and build with him and make music with him, I'm a really big fan of Bad Brains, like an old school hardcore, New York hardcore especially, but and Bad Brains are kind of adopted by the New York hardcore scene. So even though they're not a New York hardcore band, they're like, to me, like they're like the most influential punk rock band of all time. So it's a big thing for me to work with HR. Yeah, you want me to name all the features? I can't remember. You should show me the list.
Remember Cormega?
Yeah, we got Cormega's on the joint with OC, produced by Muggs. That's dope. I've always wanted to work with Mega. I've known Mega for years, so we've been long overdue to work. So yeah, it was dope. I think it's a personal album. I think it's definitely a lot of what I'm talking about on the record is about my life and a lot of personal things, and not entirely, but I think this is my third solo record. I think out of all of them, this is the most personal and the most introspective out of all of them. So it's a lot of that. It's like a real life album. It's not as metaphorical as a lot of songs might be. It's more like real deal information. You know what I mean? Like not really like conceptual in the sense of stuff like anatomy of a school shooting and stuff like that. It's not in that realm. You know what I mean? It's because that's somebody else's life. It's biographical, like that song, but it's actually, in a way, it's like anatomy, but it's like my life. You know what I mean? So it's different. It's different from my earlier stuff. As I'm getting older, I have more experiences and more to share, in my music. And I think like my early stuff, I didn't really talk that much about my personal life. So as I get older, I like putting more of that into it. I think it's cool. It's interesting, especially with my uncle, the label Uncle Howie. A lot of people identify with my uncle and have similar experiences, have relatives like him, and he's a big part of the album too. I put him and my grandmother on the album cover, and it's actually me, my grandmother, and my uncle on the cover. I was like 1 month old in that picture, so I don't think it gets more personal than that. You know what I mean? I mean, since my previous album, Hour of Reprisal, my uncle passed away. He died. I think my favorite song on the album, and it ties into the album cover, is about my grandmother and my uncle. It's called When I Die.
I left you outside the gates of heaven. They wouldn't let me in. I waved goodbye as you stepped within. It's like hell on earth without you near. I named my daughter after you, so when she smiles, it's sort of like you still here.
And that song is real deep. Like it's like real. You know, even now when I listen to it, it makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. It's crazy. You know, like and I know a lot of people identify with that song. You know, so that song in a way, that was one of the first songs I recorded for the album, and that song kind of set the pace for what the record was going to be. You know what I mean? Paul Baloff is crazy because Moss did that beat. Paul Baloff is like
disaster, beside appetite, the last massacre, fantastica, ambassador. My castle's like Vlad Dracula's, bath of blood, blast of snow, plastic gloves, laugh of love. My heart is pitch black.
Well, for those that don't know who Paul Baloff is the rest in peace to Paul Baloff. He's the original singer from this band called Exodus, band from the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. Had a scene in the 80s, the thrash metal scene. From that scene, Metallica came out of that scene. The guitar player from Metallica, Kirk Hammett, he was from Exodus. He started Exodus with Paul Baloff. Paul Baloff is one of those dudes that if you're a real metalhead, real old school, into metal, you know who he is, but a lot of young kids might not know who he is. So this song is kind of like a tribute to him. What's crazy about it is I recorded the song and I wanted to put some kind of a audio clip of Paul talking because he's real funny in between songs. His stage banter, the stuff he said to the crowd was real crazy. I remembered that I had an interview on cassette. I found the cassette and I'd actually forgot that I'm on the cassette. I totally forgot. It'd been like 25 years since I listened to that cassette. But then I realized when I heard the calls coming in on the end of the interview that it was gonna be me popping up on there. It was hilarious to me because I was like 14 years old. But at the end of that song, that's actually me talking to Paul Baloff on the phone. Like I called into the radio station. It's crazy, but yeah, everything happens for a reason, man. Everything works out, and it's cool because we did the video and we actually were able to get the video to some of the guys from Exodus that were in the band with him at the time, and actually Gary Holt, the guitar player from Exodus, he actually is playing with Slayer right now, and we were able to get him the YouTube clip while he was on the road with those guys, and he loved it. So I mean, for me, I don't care who, for him to like it, that's all that really matters to me. You know what I mean? As long as he enjoys it. It's great if everybody else loves it, but like to hear that Gary Holt was digging it is great. And he told me that if Paul was alive, he would have loved it. So Psycho Les did that beat. That's a banger. Yeah, that's just like that's another song where I wish I could have done a 10-minute song. You know what I mean? That gets boring. There's a lot I could have said. That's a very broad topic, how to survive the apocalypse. But I think I might have hit the nail on the head with that, though. I think even with 2 verses, I think I encompassed everything. Overall, it's a crazy video too. Yeah.
Share and watch each other's backs, choose your friends wisely, decrease the probability of everyone surviving. But most of all, build your self-reliance, protect your family, you make sure to always be prepared for violence.
I like it. It's tough. You're putting me on the spot right now. You know what I mean? Like making me describe every song. That's crazy. That's dope. Acid reflux is about drugs. Next.
Brain strange, so take a contaminated acid. Why you be selling your soul? We assassinate assassins. Am I hallucinating? You see visions of death.
Acid reflux is it's basically about bad trips. The song, if you listen to the lyrics, I'm talking about a bad acid trip. That's basically what it is. That's the interpretation of it. And if you look at the album, actually buy the album, inside the album there's liner notes, and I added on to, aside from the lyrics that are in the actual song, I gave a story about acid reflux in the liner notes, talking about a bad trip that I had. So it's explained by that. World premiere, that's a DJ Premier song. It's like a tribute to Premier, to Gangstar, to the DJ, and Rest in peace to
This
Guru.
is the Grimy Awards. When it's time to record, I attack the beat breaks like a Viking with a sword. So throw your motherfucking hands up in the air like you ain't care. Make some noise for DJ Premier.
I hate that we wait to give props and show love. We wait till someone dies, you know. I don't like that, you know what I mean? Like that's why I named my label Uncle Howie 15 years ago. I didn't wait for him to die to pay tribute, you know, and that's what this whole album's about, you know, and you know, I just feel like Premier's that dude, man, you know, and I wanted to give it up. Big ups to Premier. This is a tough question. I could tell you 20 different albums, but I mean, like, if you really want me to narrow it down and go go away from like hip hop on it, I have to say like Slayer, Rain and Blood. That's crazy to me. That's like probably the craziest album. You know, definitely craziest metal album of all time for me. What's cool about that album is that it came out on Def Jam. You know, and it came out like that year. That album's produced by Rick Rubin also, and like that year, Rick Rubin produced the License to Ill album. What was Run DMC, was it Raising Hell that came out that year? I think it might have been Raising Hell. What album did Run DMC drop in '86? King of Rock. King of Rock. He worked on King of Rock, License to Ill, and Rain and Blood like the same year. You know what I mean? Like 3 classic albums. And I mean, like I could put any one of those 3 albums, we could be talking about any of them. You know what I mean? So really, like aside from just being a huge Slayer fan, huge fan of Rain and Blood album, you know, Rick Rubin, man. Peace to Rick Rubin. Yeah, hell yeah. Oh, not every day, but not every day, but yeah, all the time, man. Yeah, I love that album. Favorite punchline? That's a tough one too. Impossible to pick one, but I picked one for now. KRS-One, I'm so and so, I'm this, I'm that, but they all just wick, wick, whack. That's crazy to me. That's timeless. That's it.